Hey, what's up? I'm Eric. Welcome back to Tuesday Night Legacy. This is a live game of Legacy played at Spellhold Games on May 24th. This will be round 4 from that day, the final round. On the left in the baby blue sleeves, we have Thomas on Mono Blue Merfolk. It's a Aether Vial tribal deck focused on the Merfolk tribe and playing some disruptive elements like Wasteland, Force of Will, um, and a couple of ways to disrupt the opponent's lands. Chalice of the Void's in there, I believe, as well. It's kind of a lot of difficult to block, difficult to deal with creatures that buff each other, including True Name Nemesis being protection from everything, and then Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident making other merfolk larger and unblockable, assuming your opponent controls islands, which in Legacy there's a pretty high chance that that's going to be the case. If not, you have a creature that's able to turn their lands temporarily into islands as long as they're on the field. On the right, in the other blue sleeves, I guess the kind of teal sleeves, we have John playing Yorion Zenith. This is an 80 card deck that plays Green Sun Zenith and a bunch of toolboxy creatures. It's primarily a Bant control deck, I would say, with a bunch of Bant control staples like Prismatic Ending, Endurance, and Uro. And it plays a couple of spicy things too, like a Grist that you could hit off of Green Sun Zenith, as well as a Leovold and an Omnath. So it's technically a 5-color deck. It can make all 5 colors. It's got a couple of duals that make those splash colors, as well as Abundant Growth to make your lands into Rainbow lands. The kind of fun win condition is there's a single Primeval Titan and a Field of the Dead in the deck that you could go tutor out and win a really grindy game. All that being said, let's get into game 1 and see how it goes. That's going to be John on the play. I skipped the fetch because nobody wants to see Yorion fetch on turn 1. It's not a lot of fun shuffling that 80 card tower, but he grabs a Tundra, ponders, and then, you know what? He shuffles that ponder away. He doesn't want to draw a Primeval Titan on the first couple turns of the game. That's Green Sun's target, sir. He passes it back to Thomas. He just lays out an island and ships it back again. There's a Prismatic Vista coming out, not cracked. Cavern of Souls, naming Merfolk, and that's a Silvergill Adept, revealing a Silvergill Adept. The control player in me trembles upon seeing this play. Silvergill Adept, of course, drawing a card when it enters and requiring you to reveal a second Merfolk to cast it. The stream of impending card neutral 2/1s is surprisingly difficult to deal with. John will just go ahead and lay out a second fetch land, and then on Thomas's turn, he just swings with the 2/1. Here comes a double fetch. I think we all know what's coming. This is going to be an Endurance, although a basic island can't cast that Endurance, so maybe I'm wrong. I suppose we'll see. Now, in the face of an Endurance, Thomas has a couple of options. He could Merfolk Trickster to tap it before it blocks, as that card does have flash, but it's also not a huge deal if the Silvergill Adept runs into it. Oh yeah, there we go. The Prismatic Vista switched to a Snow Forest, and the other fetch got a Trop, so this is definitely an Endurance. Comes out, no targets, and the Silvergill Adept dies. But there's a True Name, which, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think John has a single way in his main deck to remove that from the field, so he could be in some trouble here. Looking at his hand, just sadly staring at that Prismatic Ending that can't do anything about that big fish. He just plays a Knight of Autumn instead. The only mode that's really relevant here is the 2 counters, so he puts those on there. His life total is reasonably high, so he doesn't choose that. Then there's no targets for the artifact enchantment mode. Here comes the second Cavern. No hopes of forcing anything. There's that other Silvergill Adept he revealed earlier, revealing a, I think that's Master of the Pearl Trident, one of the lords of the deck. He draws his card and then decides, yeah, I'll play that card that I revealed. So getting in for 4 with that True Name. It has Island Walk, but it's irrelevant because it's already unblockable thanks to protection. There's the 4th land, another basic snow-covered forest. Here comes Prismatic Ending on the Lord. He's thinking about it. Goes ahead and just crashes in for 7. And Thomas decides not to block. He feels comfortable at 13 life. There's a 5th land. Still several cards in hand. I think that's 4 or 5. Crashes in for 6. Or I'm sorry, 5. He's gonna Harbinger of the Tides, bounce one of the tapped creatures. That's a Knight of Autumn going back to the hand. And then, oh, there's a second true name. So almost no matter what happens, John is on a 2-turn clock here at minimum. Even if he could answer all the creatures he could answer, there's nothing he could do about those true names. So he's only got 2 turns to live. I suppose he could play the Knight of Autumn, gain some life, maybe kill one of the creatures, block the other one, and buy himself an extra turn, but not a whole lot seems to be doable here. He's got an Omnath in hand, but no way to cast it, it would appear. That could gain him some life if he continues to draw additional fetch lands. You could gain up to 8 a turn cycle if you play the fetch land on your turn and then crack it on your opponent's turn, triggering that first ability of Omnath a couple times. But his turn looks a little bit different. He's gonna Teferi, bounce one of the creatures, Prismatic Ending, kill the other one. And now Thomas, all he has to do is play a Lord, and the game's over. Yep, there it is. Playing for 8, you're dead. That's game 1. Yeah, just difficult permanents for a control deck to deal with. And a control deck definitely ain't closing the game out where Merfolk has the opportunity to do these things. But we'll move into game 2. John on the play, both players on 7. See how it goes. I can see a bunch of the cards in the hand. There's a Force and a Loam, looking like kind of a grindy hand. He just lays out a forest and passes. Merfolk responds by playing an island and passing. Here comes a Prismatic Vista. Probably planning on casting that Loam. There's no permanence on the other side to answer. Loam with 1 target, not exactly where you want to be, but also not a bad way to spend the second turn on an empty board. There's an Abundant Growth as well. That could be an option, but yeah, there's that Loam. Passes back. Thomas lays out a Cavern. That's making that Force of Will look pretty sad. He thinks about casting something, but changes his mind. Here's yet another fetch. He's got an Endurance in hand, so he could pass and cast that on the opponent's turn, but opts to go for a Green Suns for Birds of Paradise instead. Pulling ahead on mana a little bit here. There's an end step Merfolk Trickster to tap the bird down. This doesn't do a whole ton at the moment because the bird does have Summoning Sickness, but if he doesn't have a Lord or something, it removes the option to chump block. Not that I think that John would be chump blocking in this situation. Basically what I'm trying to say is this is just a flash 2/2. The ability wasn't relevant here. Here comes Lord and swing for 3 with Island Walk. Back to Yorion. Here comes a Bayou, one of those duels that's in there mostly to splash a couple of cards. Post board, I think Plague Engineer is in the deck somewhere, so we could be seeing John digging around to try to find that Plague Engineer. He can't get it off of that Green Sun Zenith, so we'll see what 3-drop he gets here. It could be a Grist as a way to remove that Lord. It could be a couple different things. Oh, I didn't see him tapping the bird for mana. That is a Shifting Ceratops Pro Blue being pretty relevant here, but Island Walk doesn't particularly mind about all that. And oh, that's quite a lot of Lords. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 Lords. So the Lord that's swinging is a 4/4, and the Trickster is a 5/5, and they both are unblockable. So Shifting Ceratops just kind of sitting there, not shifting there. Back to Yorion. He taps a blue and brainstorms. Again, probably just looking around for that Plague Engineer. I think that is actually the Plague Engineer, but it's too little too late. He's going to need quite a bit of removal to get these lords out of the way, and even to kill them with the Plague Engineer, he would need a second one. So things aren't looking too hot here for Yorion, especially sitting at 6 life. I'm not sure there's any combination of cards he could have drawn to get himself out of this, except for maybe some free spells that I'm not thinking of or something. But this is looking pretty dire for John Thomas with the dominating Lord board presence. There's an Abundant Growth. Draw another card. Is that the second Plague Engineer? Oh no, he didn't cast the first one. That's the same one. Sorry. He plays a Knight of Autumn, gains 4 life, but I don't believe that's enough to save him. Yeah. Plays Wasteland and swings with the board, and that's game. Shows him the Plague Engineer. Yeah, with the previous game, the Plague Engineer would have been pretty good because it was mostly a couple of true names without any lords out, but in this particular game with the mono lord draw, it just didn't do, it wouldn't have done enough at all. So, well, all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this match of Live Legacy played at Spellhold, and I'll see you next time.